Hello and welcome back to the Culture Jack Podcast YouTube channel. It's not a podcast, although I did see that there was a option in the playlist while I was putting together the previous videos that you've seen. I did see that there was an option now, instead of putting it into a playlist, putting it into a podcast. And it's I, I'm bewildered. Essentially, my friends and family, whenever I would put up short clips of the Culture Jack podcast, it was a video clip, and I was, just talking some bullshit as I'm wont to do. My heater finally went off. I don't even know if you can hear that. So I would put up these short clips, and they would say, "Oh, I saw your podcast," and I'd be like, "Hey, it's not a podcast. It is a short clip of the podcast. The podcast is an audio experience." And so I don't think that YouTube necessarily is getting into the audio experience podcast, but they are calling video format with just like commentary and interview style. They are calling that podcast content, and I don't know how I feel about that. It kind of makes me uncomfortable a little bit, because podcasting I always thought was much more akin to like old school, not talk radio, not the way talk radio is now, but old school broadcasting, like where a whole family would get in front of a little radio, and they'd listen to their favorite broadcast. That's what I always would equate podcasts to. And so, like, having the implication that they are a video formatted medium, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So what was I saying? I was going back to that. I was in uploading those videos. That's what I don't like. Well, welcome to this channel, this video format. Um, we're still a little ways off from getting new podcasts back on the streamer, back onto uh, Apple Podcasts and Pandora and SoundCloud and Stitcher and Amazon Music and the rest. You know the ones. So I did want to talk to you. I did want to come on to the broadcast today to talk to you about DCU, or the new DCU under James Gunn. And it's been several weeks now since um, he made his announcements. What was his, of Gods and Monsters? I think is he's calling it Part One, Gods and Monsters, and all of the proposed titles that are going to be included in this, including the latter DCEU, your Blue Beetles, your Aquaman 2s, your Flashes. And a lot of people got very excited about this. I also think that the DC properties are in good hands under James Gunn. So I'm not going to recap what he talked about mostly, whether it's the new Superman project or the Supergirl project. I don't think he mentioned Lobo, but Lobo is going to appear somewhere there. Jason Momoa allegedly was already in talks for the part of Lobo. No, what I want to talk about is what got me the most excited about it. And reportedly, he's talked about this recently. Well, a couple weeks back now. Uh, and that is the opportunity for there to be a crossover between the DC universe and the Marvel universe, like they've done in the comics. And I was listening to the guys on Weekly Planet talk about it, and they said, once they do that, once they get to a point in any of these shared universes where they have to cross over, they've reached the bottom of the well. And I don't think that's the case. James Meso, I'm disagreeing with you now publicly in this internet forum of YouTube. I think that when they finally get to the Avengers versus the Justice League, or the X-Men versus the Justice League, or where they pair up against a shared common threat, common enemy, I think you have to think of these you don't have to do anything. You don't have to, especially the things I tell you. I'm missing a tooth. God, how much kind of authority could I have? No, I feel like you have to take these properties like they are comic books. Like, you know, the characters, and you'll get one or two stories with characters that you really know and you really enjoy, and then you'll get another story with another couple characters, and they're related, but you can't, again, you can do whatever you want. You shouldn't think of them as like one contiguous storyline. And I know they've tried to do that with the connecting threads, with whether it was Zack Snyder doing Dark Seed or Dark Side, Dark Seed. He travels across the stars, impregnating planets. Dark Side or Thanos, or now, King the Conqueror. I don't think it has to be all that. It has to be like, oh, any one of these characters can show up anytime, anywhere, because they live in the same universe, and that's what I like. That's what I enjoy. And oh no, a multiverse has happened. A lot of these characters came over from that universe to this universe, and now we've got Superman fighting the Hulk, and it's quite the scene. Whether all the death battles on the internet have shown us anything, it's going to be incredible. And then they can just go back and just keep doing what they're doing, and doing it in different ways, doing it in fun ways, having action set pieces that we haven't seen, character pairings that we haven't experienced yet. And then after the Secret Wars and the Crisis on Infinite Earths and all of these universes are reset, then we can do it all over again. Then we can have a new cast of characters, new actors, new directors, new stories to be told. And I like that. I like that a lot. I think it's really cool, and that's what I'm most excited about. James Gunn being over there heading DC, the DCU, along with who was it, Saffron, um, because James Gunn developed such a good rapport with the folks over at Marvel. Of course, he's done the three Guardians films. There was the backlash, those tweets that he did resurfaced, and so that he got canceled, and then he came back afterwards. You know, did all the DC stuff, and then got to do Guardians 3 and everything. So I think he has such a good relationship with them, and not to mention Kevin Feige. So head of DC, head of Marvel, it's going to happen. And like he said a couple weeks ago, I'm not quoting him for verbatim because I didn't see the story myself, but I heard someone recapping it, and he was like, "Yeah, we want to do that at some point. At some point, we'd love to get all these characters together. Um, it's just not now because we have to build the universe first. He's not just going to use the what Zack Snyder left him. He's going to build his own thing. So I'm excited about that. Very excited about that. So I wanted to tell you why I was excited about James Gunn's DCU, and that was it. Welcome back to my garage. Here we are once again. It's another Friday. Look, we're doing it. We're doing it, guys. We're keeping up with this shit. I still don't have a tooth, but I will have a tooth soon, and you can bet your bottom dollar on that. Should I stop smiling so much? Maybe that's. I'll talk like this. The other thing I wanted to talk about is uh, what did I call it? An era of false creativity. Now, I had mentioned in the first video that I put up on this channel that I couldn't be burdened with perfection. I just had to get it out. I had to put it out there. And then I was thinking, why? Why do I have to put it out? Why is there this brain worm inside of my head telling me you have to make this content? If you want this to be a viable brand, you have to make this and do this and put this out there. And I'm being as genuine as I can with these videos. I'm being as unscripted and as raw as I can with just my thoughts to you. Here they are. Enjoy it. Um, but at the same time, I know I'm not the only person that has these feelings. And creators have talked about it for a long time, for with burnout and having this kind of this creation fatigue that they have. I don't want to get that one, but also they still put things out. They put them out anyway because, like the aforementioned Dustin said, you have to just create content, no matter how good it is, but quantity over quantity over quantity at this point. Um, and so they're doing it dispassionately, and as a result, I think a lot of the creativity we are seeing is not honest creativity. And to add on top of that, I think that this kind of thing has become a second job for so many people. It's become a hustle, a grind. And so there isn't that love for it that there should be, whether it's a YouTube video, whether it's a podcast, whether it's writing music, doing stand up comedy. I don't think that if people didn't feel like they were not making the amount of money, um, having the amount of resources that they feel they need, I don't know if we'd have as many people in this space. And so I don't even know if I would be. Maybe I would. I mean, I haven't made any money over the myriad of things that I've done, and part of it's because of that consistency piece. So it can't be that. That can't be why I'm doing it, can it? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. I enjoy it. I've always enjoyed like being the center of attention. I've always enjoyed having people laugh at my jokes, listen to my opinions, and so this seems like a good fit for me. And also, I don't have to do this in front of people. Like I'm looking at a camera. I'm not talking to a huge crowd of people. So there's no like stage fright. There's no fear of being judged, at least in this moment. Because if I said something really dumb, which I'm sure I did, sure I have in this video alone, I could just delete it. So that was what I wanted to talk about. That was what I was interested in. This is the Culture Project podcast YouTube video channel. And like I said, we're just a few short weeks away from new Culture Jack podcast episodes. I'm looking at the end of May. I'm thinking May 19th is when I'll broadcast. I've recorded a few, gotten them edited. They're up, they're ready to go, locked, cocked, and loaded for your listening pleasure. If you like podcasts, if you do want to listen to some of the old podcasts, we've got a lot of good ones up there. We've just got the huge archive. I'm still paying the bills over there at SoundCloud, so they're not kicking me out yet. We've got over 300 episodes of material between Anthony and myself. So go check it out. The links are in the description here. Leave me a comment if you have any thoughts on the DC universe under the helms under the stewardship of one James Gunn. Let me know what you think about this time of false creativity, of um, fake enthusiasm. It's not here. It's not what you're going to get here. You're going to get whatever this is. If this is enthusiasm, that's what you're going to get. If this is lackluster, whatever, that's what you're going to get too. Also, I published a book. It's the Obsidian Pillar. This is um, this is the Obsidian Pillar tied up in my daughter's hair ties because I needed a way to pack them because I'm going to be giving these away. I should do like a giveaway on this channel, but I don't know how to do that. That's mail things to people. Are you kidding me? So I'm going to take these. I'm going to give them to a stranger. I'm going to meet someone and I'm going to say, hey, I'd like to give you a copy of my book. I'd like for you to read it. And then I would like for you to give it to someone else and just share it. Because the main thing is I wrote a story so I could share a story so people could hear my story. And I've made zero money on it. In fact, I think 2 copies just got returned today. That's not good advertising. Don't tell them how many copies just got returned. But people are hearing my story, and the feedback I've gotten so far is very good. It's a fairy tale. It's a poem. I've talked about it a million times, so I'm not going to bother you with that. But Links for that are in the description below as well. This has been Friday. I've been Dustin. I hope your week was great. I hope your weekend is even better.
Products
Cheers.
of the 90s, early 2000s, memes and movies and comic books and video games. This is the first bite mark of the zombie apocalypse for culture, right? Like, we're coming into it.
If that's what you folks probably see, some of the topics may be suited for mature audiences.
We're not going to throw out any emojis.
We may throw out some emoji.
How are you going to do an emoji on a podcast?